I rise to support the motion put by the good member for Gilmore because there are no two ways about it. Early childhood education is one of the nation's most vitally important professions, and it is so important that the educators and staff in the sector are paid appropriately for the crucial role they play in the Australian story. Because without these educators, without the hundreds and hundreds of hours that these workers put into their lives of our nation's future, at the most important time of a child's development, Australia would be far, far worse off. It is an unimaginable scenario for our country to go without the efforts of workers in early childhood. And that's why, for this Labor government, it's a priority to ensure the sector can operate sustainably to benefit children, families and workers alike. And that's why these increases to the income of early childhood educators are so important. They saw a 4.6% rise in 2022, a 5.75% rise in 2023 and a 3.75% rise in 2024, and now a historic 15% rise announced 2 weeks ago. These raises are changing lives, not just for the workers who are deservedly receiving them, who can now buy actual proper groceries and not sausages and bread, to quote Beck, who is an early educator working just up the road from me in Hillbank, but for the children they educate every single day, for the families that these workers support through years of their lives, because this is capping fee increases by providers to make sure that costs are not being passed on to families, because this is helping early learning centres across the country retain their current staff at a time where retention has been extremely difficult, and because this is ensuring these places of learning and growth are sustainable and continue helping children thrive across the country. The increase in income for educators and staff also makes it easier for the sector to attract new workers, to add to their capacity, to build on the more than 30,000 workers entering the sector since Labor came into government, and strengthen the backbone of early childhood development in this country, lightening the heavy load already set upon educators in Australia. So the 15% increase to pay announced a couple of weeks ago is not just a deserved one for early childhood workers, finally reflecting their important roles for families and children, but it is a needed one too, needed to make sure the early childhood education sector can continue to guide our children in the most transformative stages of an Australian's life. And don't just take it from me. Far more important are the voices of educators themselves. So I'd like to share the thoughts of workers in my electorate of Spence coming into work at the Hillbank Community Children's Centre over and over again, and what these changes mean for workers in the sector. Janya, Amanda, Beck, Misty, Christina, Connie, Sarah and Courtney are just 8 individuals who have been waiting for this pay rise. To them, this is recognition. Recognition that their work is valued by Australia, for the monumental impact it has both now and for generations to come. As Connie put it, the importance of this pay rise means me and every other educator feels valued and recognised for the work they do. It's also vindication, receiving pay that finally reflects the effort that goes into their work, both in and outside of the centre, because so often these roles are not just 9 to 5s. It's also demanding preparation before and after work hours. It's also maintaining contact with families in vulnerable situations to ensure they and their children have adequate support. So it's absolutely necessary to reflect the extra mile that educators tend to put in. As Christina put it, this will help staff because they can afford to make ends meet. Many educators are working parents, so earning more means I can put my child into care and work better hours. So to the Hillbank Community Children's Centre and all of the workers in early childhood education and care in Spence and beyond, thank you. Your work is invaluable and the story does not end there, because this is a Labor government that is continuing to work with educators across the sector to guide policy that works for them, as well as the parents and children of our nation. And that's because better off workers in early childhood education means better education for our children and a better future for our country. And just in closing, Speaker, I'll just make a comment in relation to the words by the member for Riverina. We need to attract more educators to this sector. This pay rise goes to the exact heart of that. That is how we fix a solution when it comes to a lack of educators and spots in those childcare facilities. Thank you.